What's up, everybody? It's your girl Miranda, and we are in the building today. Today, I have my boy with me, Vago Light.
Yo, yo, yo! What is up?
Now, typically, he's always the host.
Yeah,
but today, not today.
This feels weird.
He is in the hot seat. He is the interviewee.
I am in the hot seat.
And today, we have the pleasure of talking about his newly dropping single, Take Me Higher.
Take Me Higher.
Drops on May 6th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All music platforms?
On May 6th. So officially, thank you for having me. I think that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, we guess.
Yeah.
We
Thank you
could
for
do
having me. Thank you for having me. So on May 6th, yes, I'm dropping after 16 years. You believe that?
Wow. Has it been 16?
16 years later, the story continues.
So did you start dropping when you were like 10? Or?
Well, yeah, I received that.
Okay. That's the only compliment you're getting, by the way.
Yeah, 16 years later, I am now dropping a single.
Yeah.
And doing some work. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
So this is in a very excited time. We are super proud of you. So we want to talk a little bit about the man behind the music. So what was your inspiration with Take Me Higher?
So good question. So let's take a step back a few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you actually listen to my previous album, which 16 years ago, that there's a title track on there called Take Me Higher.
Okay.
So I wanted to redo that song because that song did extremely well. It was more of a ballad, and I wanted to redo it a little bit and bring some new flavor to it.
Okay.
So we went ahead and did it. Now, here's the crazy thing. I started this journey in 2018, actually.
Okay.
And in 2019, we were going to put it out, and I stopped.
Now, why did you stop?
And all honest truth, fear.
Wow.
No matter how much or how long you do stuff, I think you always fear like, yo, what if people don't like it?
Right.
What if it doesn't do well?
Mm-hmm.
You always get that fright, wondering, okay, is this gonna work?
Right.
So for me, I stopped, right? And everybody be like, man, when are you gonna drop that album? When you gonna drop it? And I'll be like, and I was like, man, I ain't dropping nothing. Like this crowd, this crazy crowd out here.
Right.
So I decided to go ahead and do it. Now, here's the crazy thing. 2019, fast forward 2020, what happens?
COVID.
So COVID happens,
mm-hmm.
and I started to think, yo, if I die from COVID, I want to die empty.
Wow.
Right? Because I'm starting thinking to myself, yo, I got all these stuff inside of me,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not allowing it to be released because I'm afraid.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this got to stop.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start back on the saddle. I'm gonna make plans. We're gonna make this thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
So and who cares whether or not anybody likes it, right?
Right.
So I was like, I don't care if nobody likes it. All I know is that every gifting that God has put inside of me, I want to expose it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want God to be like, yo, I gave you all this opportunity. I gave you all these gifts and never did anything. So now 2021, we say, let's go. We're going to put it together. We make it happen. And now fast forward 2022, May the 6th. Did I mention this May the 6th?
You've mentioned that several times.
I think I want to May the 6th. May the 6th, just in case I didn't mention it. May the 6th, the new single, Take Me Higher, in air quotes, want to go higher, is going to be dropping.
Wow. But I really appreciate what you said about fear.
Yeah.
Because one, you admitted it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't want to admit that it's fear, but a lot of times people think that it's the absence of fear, but no, it's moving forward in spite of fear.
True.
Right?
True.
So no matter how you feel, because there's a difference in fear the feeling and then having a spirit of fear.
Yeah. Fun fact. Every time I hit the stage and
mm-hmm.
sing, I always get anxiety, I always get scared. Fear of the unknown. But what I always do, the fear only happens in the beginning.
That's it.
But you got to push beyond the fear.
That's it.
And once I get into my comfort spot, I'm like, yo, what was I even concerned about?
Yeah.
Like, so you got to kind of push yourself beyond the fear
mm-hmm.
to do the thing that you're supposed to do. And I think that's the thing that paralyzes a lot of us. Like, you could be gifted. There's a lot of gifted people that are sitting under the bridge.
Sure.
There's a lot of gifted people that are walking the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between gifted people and people who go ahead and make action happen, they push beyond the fear.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to push beyond the fear and say, you know what? To heck if nobody else like it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
So message today, push beyond the fear. I love that.
Yeah.
And another thing too that people don't like to talk about is the failing process, the failing forward.
Ooh.
Talk a little bit about that, because 16 years then, and now I'm sure there were points of failure in that process.
Oh, of course. I think in anything that you do,
sure,
there's always going to be a fear of failing.
Right.
Especially failing in the front of people. But one of my greatest authors, whom I love, I read all of his books, is John C. Maxwell.
Yep.
And he has a book. Yeah, he has a book called Failing Forward.
Yep.
So if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail forward. There's always a lesson to be learned in every situation.
Correct.
And you got to look at it that way, right? Like, even if it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I learned something. I learned something about myself. I learned something about the situation. I'm going to press forward. I'm going to continue to learn from this situation and get better. So sometimes, the fear of failing, everybody has it. CEOs of companies experience it. Man, everybody experiences it.
Right.
But you'll never know until you try.
Yeah.
So you got to try.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your musical roots. When did you start singing? Why Christian music? So give us some background on how you became an artist, because a lot of people may not know.
Yeah.
You are an artist.
Yeah.
You sing.
Yeah.
Also, you're an actor.
I act a little bit.
A little bit of acting.
A little bit of acting.
So you are truly a man of the art. So tell us a little bit about how you got from when you started when you were young to now.
Listen, truly I can say, all God, I'm definitely blessed, right?
Mm-hmm.
To have opportunities, and I believe that there'll be more opportunities. But I started singing. If you ask most people when they started something,
right,
they'll tell you, I started when I was a little kid. And the story for me is the same, right?
Right.
At the age of 6, so go with me now. So 6 years old, I'm 6. And every time they do a musical or want to do a song, I always get picked to do the lead.
I wonder why.
I'm like, I'm always getting picked. So I go ahead and do it.
Right.
Now, here's the crazy thing. At the age of probably about 12.
Mm-hmm. Okay, come on, Jesus, little cousin.
Yeah, that's 12. That's when the ministry starts, at 12. No. At 12, I went to a speech therapist. And they told my mom that I would have problems speaking.
Wow.
Because my voice was so raspy. So you could imagine a 12-year-old with this raspy voice. And they said he's probably going to have challenges speaking, and singing definitely wouldn't be his thing. But my mom didn't listen to them.
Wow.
At all. So she said, you know what? They wanted to do surgery on my vocal cords. And she said, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pray this one through.
Listen.
Yeah.
I got to shout out to your mom.
Yeah, shout out mom.
Yeah, and shout out all moms, because sometimes people don't know, like, the backstory of that, of a mom saying, no, I am not claiming this for my child's life.
It's nothing like a praying
now.
mother.
Mama, shout out to you, because look at him now.
Yeah. Shout out to my mama. What's up, mom? She wouldn't have it. And I look back now, because what they said wasn't possible. God just switched it all up.
Yeah.
And now, of course, for those of you who don't know, I sing for a living. That's what I do. So now I look at it now. So, years later, I fast forward now, I'm looking back. I'm like, I'm doing the thing I always dreamed of doing.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
I always dreamed about it. I was 14, being in the choir, church boy, started in the choir. Yep. And then I had a few mentors, a few people that I looked up to. They were awesome singers, and I wanted to be like them. I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do what they do. And God just began to open up doors. So, crazy story. Right. The year is 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 17 years old, I had this vision.
Wow.
Of me singing in the front of thousands of people in this auditorium.
Okay, now you got to put that in context for people. All right.
So what most people don't know, the reason why that's weird,
right?
Because I grew up in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
and we had no auditorium
right
that fit that amount of people. It was about 5,000, 6,000 people. Crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, yo, like, I don't know where this is. And then long story short, I came over to college, and year 1999, I went to this was probably one of the hugest churches in the area at the time.
right
And got involved in the church, and they put me up there to lead worship.
wow
Now, you gotta understand, this is crazy because I'm like, yo, how in the world? So TD Jakes comes to the church. Church is packed. I mean, like, packed. 5,000 people. They had to turn away people.
So this is the vision.
This is the vision. It's now coming to pass, right?
Wow.
And the girl said, I didn't even notice it. I didn't realize it at all. And they said, hey, we want you to open up and lead. Now they had Martha Menizzi there. And that's another crazy story because this was before she blew up. This was her bluetuism, right? Before she blew up.
What?
I just made that word up.
Did you say a bluetuism?
Bluetuism, right? Before she blew up. And they invited her to come, and they wanted me to open for her.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am on the stage, packed house, 5,000 people. They turning people away. I get on the stage to sing, and it hits me. Yo.
This is the vision.
This is the vision.
Wow.
Like, I'm actually in the place that I saw, right?
Wow.
So I go and I sing. I come down. Martha Menizzi walks up to me. She said, what did it bring me here for?
What a compliment.
I know. It was crazy. She says,
wow.
She said, yo, like, you did that. Like you set the atmosphere. Like, this is good. And then, story goes on and, crazy because that's the night when she actually got discovered. So I'm getting good. I know it's a long story. But anyway, so Juanita Bynum came as well.
Okay.
Juanita Bynum came to that same conference and happened to sing her song.
Wow.
She turns over to me. She hits me. She said, yo, that's my song. She said, she's singing my song. So then she, of course, introduces herself to Juanita Bynum. Juanita Bynum has her come and travels with her, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So you never know where your music will end up. You never know who will God have you sit in the presence of. So, hey.
That's it.
Crazy.
And I bet when you saw that vision, when you saw it, you were thinking more so the artist and not the worship leader.
Yeah, I was thinking the artist.
Right.
I just didn't know, right? Because at the time, I really wasn't a worship leader, right? And I don't think that was kind of like the big thing back then, a worship leader. So of course, I automatically assumed, it must be an artist. But lo and behold, that was the moment. That was the aha, like, whoa, like this is what God showed me before. So yeah.
And so tell us why you stayed with gospel music or Christian music, because I know so many people, they get their start in the church, right? And they start and they finish singing secular music. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes they don't necessarily stay where they started. But you started in the church. You stayed in the church. So why Christian or gospel music?
So here's the crazy thing. I always tell people this. I think God just graced me enough to sing Christian music.
Wow.
Because I tried the R&B thing. I was in a group.
Right? Not the group.
Yeah, I was in a group. I was in an all guy group. Empower Man.
Okay, Empower Man. Shout out to you guys. I remember.
Yeah. We did our thing, and we did 2 singles, and it was really good. But for me, that wasn't it. Right? I just knew that that wasn't me. My best gifting was in the church.
Wow.
So I always knew, like, yo, God has me. He's gifted me and graced me to sing Christian music, right? And that's what I want to do. Here's the crazy thing, Miranda. When I was 12, I said a prayer.
Wow.
I said, God, if you give me, and this was when they were telling me about my voice and all that kind of stuff. I said, God, if you give me the ability to sing, I'll sing just for you.
Oh, wow.
Like, for real. Like,
now
I remember it. I remember it as clear as day. I said, God, if you just let me sing, I'll sing for only you. And that's my vow. Yeah. I'm singing just for him. R&B, cool. Contemporary music, cool. Rap, all that stuff is cool. but I want to give back to him because to me it was more of a gift. Him allowing me to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
I know, crazy, right?
Right. To see where you've come from.
Yeah.
And now when you started 16 years later to now, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited.
Yeah. And shout out to everybody that believed in me, because even when I didn't believe in myself,
right.
It's always good to have a group of people that believe in you. Not like, here's the thing. Not everybody gonna believe in you.
Right. And everybody's not meant to.
And that's meant to.
Right.
And you know what? To be honest with you, my music is not for everybody.
It's not.
It's just the way it is. But I believe it's for somebody.
Right.
And shout out to, to yourself. And I got a whole team of folk that support me. Shout out to my pastor at my church.
Yep.
Here's the crazy thing. When most people don't know, he pushed me. He said, man, listen. He called me. I'll never forget it. He called me up. This when I was working at Chase. And I was working at the bank. He called me up. He said, man. He said, what are you doing?
Wow.
I said, what do you mean? He said, I believe in you.
Wow.
He said, I believe that you. He said, I'm telling you, I believe in you full-fledged in what you're doing. And he said, you need to go ahead and do your thing. So, of course, when I told him about to do my thing, he said, well, about time.
Right.
He said, I've been telling you, go ahead and do your thing. So, shout out to all those, my supporters, my family, my wife, all my family, everybody that really support me. So, I appreciate it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's so important. I'm glad you mentioned that before we wrap up, that you need those people around you.
Got to.
Sometimes when you don't believe and even you may not see it, that they can see it and they can push you.
Yeah,
that's so important.
You gotta have good people in your circle.
Absolutely.
If they're not pushing you, you need to let them go.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a life story, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited. May the 6th
is
the day.
Everywhere. Get it.
All platforms.
All platforms. Apple, Google, Spotify,
right?
Your mama kitchen, wherever it is, wherever they play the music.
Under the sink, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't burn it now. We want you to buy it and support it.
Yeah, I know they don't really do CDs and nothing like that, but don't copy it and send it to somebody. Like support all of our artists.
Yes. Artists are important, and we appreciate the art.
Yeah.
We really do.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to us. Stay tuned because we know there's more.
There's more.
And we'll see you later.
Peace, y'all.